Welcome and good morning to Mike Ferry TV. It's the week of May 29, or in essence, it's the end of the month, okay? And I hope you've had a great May. I hope it's the beginning of a good summer for you, both personally and professionally. As I said last week, we're going to do another series of 3 of these fun top 10 lists. I have to tell you, I receive a stack that thick after the retreat every year of great people like you that attend the retreat that submit to me the top 10 things they learned. And you know what's fun? I've had some of you say, well, a lot of their things that they bring up are the same, of course. And then some of you say, wow, I didn't know you presented that at the retreat and I was there. Well, because when you present volumes of material, because see, if I have a fault, and I have many, my biggest fault as a speaker, trainer, coach, is I give you more material than you can comprehend. Why? Now listen carefully. If I stuff enough stuff in here, and it's in here, and some of it leaks out over there, the retention is bigger here than if I try to put this much in your head and let it whirl around and sip out the other side. So I'm always going to give you way more than you can handle. I'm always going to give you excessive information. I'm assuming that you're a smart person. I'm assuming that you can handle a lot of information. I'm assuming that you have the skill, the ability to do something extraordinary with your business and your life. And my job is to help you become more extraordinary than you are. So Daniel Yang sent us a great top 10 list. Daniel, thank you on behalf of all of our thousands of viewers every week. Okay? He started out with this. Dear Mike, thanks again for another awesome Superstar Retreat. We learned a ton, and I thought I'd share with you some of those things that I've learned. It's a great list. Okay, so watch number 1. Here's a new one. Never heard this one before. Number 1, generate new buyer and seller leads every day. That's our job, period. How do you spell job? J-O-B, not a complicated word. Your job is to generate leads every day. How well do you do it? Are you doing it? What are you saying when you try to do it? Okay, how much good enthusiasm do you have in that part of your job? Because that part of your job affects everything else you do. You know it and I know it. If you walk in the office on Monday morning and you have no listings, you have no sales, you have no pendings, you have no leads, it's depressing. But you can change that depression virtually by picking up the phone, calling 4 or 5 people in your database, past client centers of influence, call a couple for sale by owners, a couple expired listings, call around somebody's listing, talk to 10, 12 people, knock on a few doors. You're going to be regenerated very quickly, and you're always going to get a couple good leads, which is the name of the game. Number 2, internalize the script. Okay, don't just read it like I do. Internalize the script so you may listen for their motivation, personality style, and listen for the little holes in their story. You know, I mean, there's no reason why a buyer or seller has to look you in the eye, meet you the first time, and tell you the truth about everything in their life, because you're going to be asking a lot of them in terms of your pre-qualifying process, buyers and sellers. So I'm looking for holes in their presentation. I'm looking for their motivation. I'm looking for their personality style. All right, so how do I do this? I internalize the scripts, so I'm very free to go ahead and do my job. I'm free to ask the questions. I'm not worried about what do I say next, and what if they don't respond the way I want them to. Oh my gosh, I hope I don't say the wrong thing. Now, we know when you internalize the scripts, you make adjustments, you change, you edit my material, and I understand that. So let's take the scripts, let's practice, rehearse every day. Then hold the scripts in your hand. As you're asking the questions, because you've internalized, you can listen to the answers. Number 3, listen to what Daniel said, number 3. If they argue with you, because sometimes they do. I mean, it's just human nature. Don't respond to them the way that they responded to you. Now think about the really genius behind that statement. You say to the customer, I'd like you to sign the contract, please. Well, we've got a friend in the business. You're kidding. You didn't tell me you had a friend in the business. Well, actually, we have 2 friends in the business. Oh, why didn't you tell me that before we started? Boy, that just brings them right in. That tightens up the old bond. That cements the relationship. Fastest way to make sure they don't sign a contract is argue with them. Because, now remember, listen carefully. If I'm going to argue with you and I prove that I'm right, you have to be what? Wrong. If you prove that you're right, I have to be wrong. So what Daniel's saying If they argue, don't respond in the same manner. Well, we've got a friend in the business. Gosh, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that, because I don't know what I should say outside of the fact that I hope your friend who's in the business can do a greatest job for you as I could do for you right now if you sign the contract. Would you consider signing the contract with me? And if you do, I will call your friend and tell them to line up their buyers and sell the house so they get paid also. Would that be fair? See, that's a much better idea than getting into an argument with them at any time. Number 4, asking questions force you to develop versatility. Their answers give you their point of view. This is the biggest challenge we face. Asking questions, okay? Watch, either I can tell them or I can sell them. Tell them, yak, 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 blah, 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 blah. Sell them, ask a lot of questions. Focus on the answer, look them in the eye, listen to what they're saying. Because this will tell you everything you need to know about what you have to do next in this whole process. Very, very important. Number 5, ask for the signature. Isn't this great? Daniel, thank you. This is great. Ask for the signature. And he said, it's how you end any good presentation. Mary and Bob, we've discussed the price, the terms, the location, the commissions. We've got everything settled now. Would you sign the contract, please? Not complicated. Would you sign the contract, please? And it's so funny to me that all these speaker trainers want to weave around and give you some magical little thing to say. You made your presentation. They expect you to ask them to sign. They're there. You're there for the purpose of getting a signature. As Daniel says, ask them for the signature, okay? Number 6, learn to confront at a high level. Learn to confront at a high level and do it unemotionally. Confrontation, we've talked about this time and time again, is nothing more than asking a lot of questions, okay? Mary, you said that you wanted to do A, B, and C, correct? Well, yes, I did. But you weren't able to complete them, were you? No, I wasn't. May I ask what got in the way and what can we do to make sure that doesn't happen again? I just confronted her on those A, B, and C's. Confrontation is not getting mad and yelling and screaming, and I can't believe that you didn't do your job. That's not confrontation, that's stupidity. But now look what Daniel said, okay? Do it unemotionally. Now, if somebody has not done what they've promised, and they know you know, are they going to be a little emotional in their response? The answer is yes every single time. So don't allow yourself to respond emotionally because it's not an emotional situation. Number 7, we talk about it all the time. By mastering versatility, I will add 12 to 24 transactions to this year's production. As you've heard me say time and time again, I've been saying for 10 years, a lack of versatility is costing every person in real estate any place from 10 to 15 to 20 transactions a year. See, when you can only deal with this type of person who has a personality just like you, when you can only deal with that kind of a person, you have no chance to succeed at a high level. And then update your seller on the market neighborhood stats every 2 weeks. You got to remember, first of all, the market's either going up, going down, flat, or in transition. That's it. Well, a seller puts their home on the market with you. Are they nervous? Yes. Are they somewhat stressed? Yes. Do they get emotional? Correct. Is this a difficult time for them? Absolutely. So by a lack of communication, which is what most real estate people do, they actually get more upset, more stressed, more emotional. So what Daniel said we have to do is we have to call every 5 to 10 days and update. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, let me tell you what's been happening for the last 10 days. And update them. No, well, you say, well, what if it's not good news? Tell them the truth. There's a new concept. And number 9 on his list, the ability to control your emotions. You know, here's the best example I can give you, okay? I said to an audience one day, we have to, and you can do this, keep your emotions between the lines. And the lines have to be narrow. So I draw a line, I drop down an inch to another line, I write the word emotions in between. I got to keep my emotions between the lines because, see, the sellers and buyers are emotional automatically. It's just part of the process. And if we get emotional also, is that really leading to a real valid and good situation for them and for us? Of course not. Now, how do you learn to control your emotions? Shut up, don't talk. When something goes sideways, ask a lot of thank you questions. And number 10, the skill of accepting the fact that you can win in a big way. Gosh, what a great thought, Daniel. Thank you. We can win in a big way. And I believe we can win in a big way if we're willing to allow our minds to expand and allow ourselves to grow and to look outside and get out of our comfort zone and look at the glass ceiling and poke a hole in it and get up there in where the stars are and the superstars are. You can do this. You can win in a big way. But you have to want to win in a big way. You have to have the desire. And I believe that if you keep working with us and keep watching what we teach, we're going to spark a little bit of that desire in you at some point, and things will get better. So Daniel Yang, thank you for a great top 10 list. Again, I mentioned last week, this retreat is going to sell out really big, okay? I think the room is designed at the Bellagio to hold like 4,650 people. And we have every appearance, everything is on track to selling out, which means if it holds 4,600, we'll sell 4,800 tickets. I want you to be one of them if you'd like to be one of them. Call the office, get registered, be part of what we do, and I will see you next week. Thanks for today.